A spacecraft carrying an extraterrestrial being crashes on the premises of an ordinary elderly man. What unexpected bonds will form between this unique pair? And for what reason does the alien have an interest in deceased cats?
Watch fantastic recaps by fans of the movies.
An elderly man, Milton, makes his way to the municipal council headquarters in Boonton, Pennsylvania. The council session begins with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and news of the construction of a baseball field. Next, the council president gives the floor to Milton and asks him to be brief. The man suggests replacing the city slogan and moving the crosswalk to one of the streets. Milton speaks confidently, but without much hope that the council members will listen to him. Disappointed, he leaves the podium. The following morning, as the man tends to the garden, his daughter Denise sifts through his financial records in the house. She becomes concerned about her father's absent-mindedness, particularly when she discovers canned beans stored in the restroom locker. Milton is irritated by her subtle insinuations about his health. Denise recommends that he consult a doctor and then departs. In the evening, Milton watches television and has dinner alone. Startled by a noise during the night, he is surprised to discover a descending flying saucer in his backyard and promptly reports it to the emergency services. The dispatcher remains skeptical and advises him to go to bed. Milton is bewildered by what he has witnessed and becomes frightened. The next day, he returns to the city council building. Two elderly women named Joyce and Sandy, acquaintances of Milton, suggest pickleball as an alternative to tennis and propose the establishment of a cold storage facility for businesses. Milton reiterates his proposals regarding the slogan and crosswalk to the council. Although the council members nod sympathetically, they seem patiently waiting for the conclusion of his speech. The suggestions from the seniors fail to strike a chord with the council members. The man walks home alone, still perplexed by the situation involving the unidentified flying object. During the night, the alien disturbs Milton's sleep. He calls his daughter, expressing that he has encountered the alien and is deeply frightened by the incident. The next morning at the city council, Sandy asks Milton how he is doing and expresses her initiative to share her experience with the youth. Following her, Milton reiterates to the council his earlier proposals and also discloses information about a flying object landing in his backyard. Mayor Martinez anxiously questions the man about it, but Milton confidently repeats what he said. The council members look at the man with surprise and disbelief. On his way out of the council building, Joyce catches up with him. She is upset about his story, concerned that now the elderly will not be taken seriously in the council, and asks him not to mention the flying object at the meetings anymore. Sandy offers to give Milton a ride home and on the way inquires about his condition. She is worried about him, but the man assures her that everything is fine except for the spaceship in his yard. Back home, Milton notices that the alien is lying on the ground. He turns out to be alive and in need of help. The old man brings him a glass of water, covers him with a plaid, and hurries away. The next morning, Milton notices that the alien, frightened and frozen, is huddled against the stairs of the house. Distressed by this helplessness, the old man suggests that he come inside, and the alien accepts the invitation. Milton is very nervous and tries to be friendly to his new guest. He carefully offers him water and various foods. It turns out that the alien prefers apples. Milton goes to the supermarket to buy more apples for his guest. At the checkout, he informs the clerk about the alien at home. The clerk is very confused and thinks the old man is out of his mind. At his residence, in front of the television, Milton learns about the weather satellite crash. The guest is recovering and gaining mobility, bringing joy to the elderly man. He guides his guest through the various rooms, discussing beloved TV programs and, with pictures, acquaints the extraterrestrial visitor with his family. Milton's wife has passed away and his son resides in California, infrequently reaching out to his father. Denise, during her visit to the supermarket, discovers from the clerk that her father has been purchasing apples for the extraterrestrial visitor. Determined to be vigilant, she clarifies exactly which alien she is referring to. Denise comes to visit her father and urges him to be examined by a doctor. He agrees. Their conversation is interrupted by a call from Sandy, asking him to print flyers on his printer. Arriving at Milton's house, the woman is shocked by the alien sitting on the couch. She suggests keeping the alien's appearance a secret, convincing Milton that it will be safer that way. The man tells her that the alien is not a threat and that they are watching television together. Meanwhile, a government agency initiates a search for the fallen flying object. In the morning, Milton wakes up and notices a drawing of a cat on his desk. In the yard, an alien is busy repairing a flying saucer. The man thanks the alien for the drawing, thinking it is a gift. Milton visits a neurological clinic and on a test of his mental health cannot answer the doctor's questions. This alarms the man. At Milton's home, Sandy speaks candidly to the alien about her daughter and her family. She cannot hold back her tears and is upset that she has not seen her daughter and grandson for a long time and misses them very much. During a visit to the neurological center, Denise expresses her concerns about her father's health. The doctor recommends additional care for Milton, leading to tension and a quarrel between the father and daughter. At home, Milton confides in the alien about his concerns regarding his relationship with his children. He acknowledges that he spent little time with them during their childhood, considers himself a failed father, and feels helpless in changing the situation. In the evening, Milton calls his son Tim, leaving a heartfelt message on his answering machine expressing regret for not being present during Tim's childhood. The next day, Sandy playfully dresses the alien in her daughter's t-shirt with a humorous inscription and proposes the name Jules. Meanwhile, Joyce hears a news report on television about a reward for information about a fallen weather satellite and remembers Milton's story about the alien. She arrives at Milton's house, spots the alien in the window, and rings the doorbell. Milton and Sandy don't want anyone else to know about Jules, but Joyce reports that she has already seen the alien. Seated at the table with the alien, Joyce gazes at it in amazement, attempts to touch it, and observes its remarkably understanding expression. She proposes naming the alien Harry. A debate ensues between Milton and Joyce, and she pledges to keep the secret about the alien and the flying saucer. Milton shares pictures of cats drawn by the alien, leading Joyce to speculate that there might be a hidden message. At a government office, security officers are listening to citizens' calls. One of them receives a message whose contents may indicate the location of a fallen flying saucer. The call is placed at the Milton house. At the same time, two men in suits come to the house of a strange woman. Joyce has come to visit Milton. In the yard of the house, the men in suits see a wooden model of the rocket that was mentioned in the phone conversation. Their expectations are not met and disappointed they leave. Joyce brings food and clothes for Jules. During this time, Sandy receives a call from a man interested in her flyers about sharing experiences with young people. Joyce nostalgically tells the alien about her past life in the big city. A man named Danny comes to Sandy's house and they drink tea and have a nice chat. He pretends to go to the restroom, but is actually trying to rob an elderly woman. Sandy notices this, suggests the criminal stop, and says she will call the police. Danny attacks her, knocks her down, and tries to strangle her. Jules telepathically sees that Sandy is in danger, and he uses his mind power to save the woman from the attack. At Sandy's house, Sandy is questioned by the police. She informs them that the assailant unexpectedly exploded, but the police meet her words with skepticism. Sandy deduces that it was Jules who saved her from the robber. The alarmed woman rushes to Milton's house, where she falls to her knees in a burst of gratitude towards Jules. Overwhelmed with emotion, she embraces him and sheds tears. The old guys discuss what has happened and decide that now Jules needs their protection too. The police suspect that Sandy is hiding something and decide to have her followed. Denise meets her father in the supermarket parking lot. She is worried about him, but Milton is annoyed. Their relationship deteriorates with each meeting. Back at home, Sandy detects an unusual rotten smell, and it turns out that her cat has been killed under the wheels of a car. Joyce assumes that the dead cats are needed by Jules in order to fix his flying saucer. Milton calls his daughter's veterinary clinic to find out where the dead animals go. Alarmed by his questions, she once again attempts to convey her worries about his well-being. Milton and Sandy embark on a journey around the neighborhood in search of deceased cats. They are followed by police officers in a car. An elderly man asks Sandy about her husband's illness, and from her story he begins to wonder about his symptoms. Milton spots a lifeless animal on the road, steps out of the car and stows it in the trunk, leaving the pursuing police officers perplexed. Milton and Sandy discover 2 dead animals, and Joyce promises to find 4 more. At the government office, an employee records a phone conversation between Milton's daughter, in which she tells her friend about her father's strange conversations about the alien. Joyce brings Milton 3 more deceased cats. Men in suits ring the doorbell, prompting the alien, who was recently at the table, to vanish. The old men find it in a flying saucer and decide that they need to speed up the process of finding the last animal. Milton offers to sacrifice Joyce's blind, deaf, and paralyzed cat. At first, she is very upset about his offer because the cat is like a son to her, but then she recognizes that it is better for the animal. Joyce says goodbye to her pet, and Jules peacefully puts the animal to sleep with the help of telepathy. After collecting all the necessary dead cats near the ship, Jules covers their bodies with a metal cloth, transforming them into a battery for his spacecraft. The flying saucer is ready to take off, its signal being detected by the government. Jules is ready to leave on the ship, and the old men say goodbye to him. They are happy that they were able to fix the ship and touchingly give farewell gifts to the alien. Jules invites all three to fly away with him. The old men feel alone on this planet. Milton says he wants to go with the alien because he doesn't want his daughter to see him grow old and fade away. At that moment, Denise calls and says she is coming to give her father a haircut on Saturday and wants to fix things with him. Milton is touched by her call and he promises to think about her offer. Suddenly, two men in suits break into Milton's house, causing the old people and the alien to escape in a flying saucer, and the ship with all four on board takes off. The ship lands, and initially, the old men believe they have arrived on another planet, only to realize they are on the outskirts of the city. They bid farewell to the alien. Milton expresses gratitude to Jules for the invitation, but decides to stay because Earth is his home, and his family needs him. The alien boards his spaceship and departs from Earth. Some time passes. In Milton's home, the elderly folks sit in armchairs and ponder whether Jules remembers them. Joyce and Milton's memory has significantly deteriorated during this time, but despite that, they seem happy. In the evening, Milton stares wistfully through the window at the night sky and smiles. Somewhere out there in the distance, perhaps traveling through outer space, is his alien friend.
Watch fantastic recaps by fans of the movies.
In your opinion, should the old folks have reported the alien to the government? We are thrilled to present you with new and exciting videos. Furthermore, we highly value your comments and feedback, which you can share under this video.